Hello and welcome back to the channel. I'm Dan, and this is Forlorn Hobbies. So today's video, it will be a bit of a mix and match video because there's a few areas I want to discuss. First of all, I'll offer a brief review of the Other Partizan held this past weekend at Newark, which was a great event, followed by a channel update and what to expect for the next couple of weeks, before responding to a challenge because, yes, we have been called out for the upcoming Under Eagles to Glory 2 event. So stick around to see my response. This year I attended the show with my family, which was a whole experience in itself. So my engagement with it was a lot less than the previous year when I was part of the participation game for the Zulu Wars put on by Ritchie Hall, which was a fantastic game and a very long day. So this year's visit was brief in comparison. I had my children pulling at me in all directions, going, "Look at this fantastic board," or "I want this in the shop," etc., etc. So it was very hectic. Now, I wandered around all the stockists, and as usual, there was a great range of variety on offer. And every time I as much as stopped to look at something, I could feel my wife's eyes burning in the back of my brain, going, "You are not buying this." So the children needed to be deployed again as a distraction for her so I could swiftly make some sneaky purchases, which I will cover a bit later. Now, wandering around the room as well, there was a fantastic amount of participation games and games that groups had put on and were playing that you could watch. And as usual, the effort that people had put into this was top notch and very inspiring. Now, I cannot remember all the boards, and I don't think I was able to take pictures of everyone, but there was definitely amazing work all across the board. Now, a few notables for me was the Battle of Five Armies. Being a massive Lord of the Rings fan, I was very intrigued to see this board in person because I'd seen posts about it on the various Facebook groups, and it didn't disappoint. It was a different rule system to what I was used to. I mean, I play Middle Earth, so I wasn't expecting it to be Middle Earth, but it was interesting to see how it worked as a more kind of block-based game as opposed to skirmish. The Normandy landings was a particular favourite of my eldest child. He is obsessed with World War Two, World War One, and I believe it was Omaha Beach or Omaha Beach, however you want to pronounce it. And yeah, so we stopped and looked at that for a while, and he did not shut up about it on the way home. So yeah, congratulations if it's your board that I'm talking about here, because I've heard too much about it now from my child, and it has given me a headache. There was several Napoleonic era games as well, which was always fascinating to see, and there was quite a few colonial era games, which again is not good for my hobby budget because that's another area that I have an interest in. And a Yorkshire Gamers Italian Wars, I believe it was the Siege of Forlì, with Caterina Sforza's and the Borgias facing off against each other. Now, this was particularly painful for my wallet and willpower because I am travelling to Florence in a few weeks, and I no doubt will be thinking long and hard about that era of history and will come up with many ideas for projects and the like coming back and seeing it in the flesh might just tip me over the edge into making a lot of expensive purchases. So, what did I buy? That's what everyone wants to know, right? Well, going into the event, I knew that I needed to go to the Perry's because I wanted to pick up a couple of pieces for my Russian project for Under Eagles to Glory 2 next year. And despite looking at every single blister in the Russian range, I could not find much of what I needed, as a lot of it was out of stock on the website, so I wasn't overly hopeful going into it. But I managed to pick up one of my artillery pieces in winter dress, so that was something at least. I then went to war bases and bought some more bases for the painting videos that I do, as well as picking up the Prussian mansion for a built up area project, because no doubt I will probably have to supply more buildings again for Tim's event, because Tim just doesn't make buildings. What a surprise! And there'll probably be videos on that project at some point in the future. Now, the next couple of purchases were more of a whimsical purchase. I went to Bad Squiddo, and they had some truly interesting sculpts. So I picked up the Catherine the Great version that they do to put aside for a future character video, as well as a set of alpacas. Now, they have no use to me in any games or anything, but the moment I see an alpaca related thing, I am sold. That's all you need to know. That was all I wanted to know, and I just picked it up and went, yep, how much? Don't care how much it is. There's the money. Now, the last purchase that I made was the books for Silver Bayonet. Now, we'd just had a test game of this at the club in the week, put on by Con, which was a fantastic game, and Tim was also his usual salty self. So, another bad decision that Tim has caused for me and my wallet, but there we go. Now, I was playing, whilst I was playing this in the week, I thought this would be a great family game, way to get them into playing more games with me and at home. So this will be a bit of an indoctrination tool for them, and I'm looking forward to playing it. Side note, I've already written my Egyptian warband, and ordered the models for that, so that will be on the tabletop soon. Hopefully I might do a mini presentation build for that as well at some point. Moving on to the challenge that the channel has been issued. Right, Mr. Crew over at Tremontium Hobbies, in his Black Powder Portuguese army build for Under Eagles to Glory 2 video, has called me out for a grudge match in Game 1. Now, I don't know about the draws, but I will gladly accept and channel my inner Dolokhov for this engagement, and I will have a word with Tim to see what we can do to get this going and make it a reality. We're also looking at kind of hobby project builds videos as we're going along, but I want to add a forfeit to this challenge. Now, we all know that Ian loves his Prussians, so I think the loser of the game, if it happens, will have to paint an entire Prussian brigade as a forfeit. What do we say to that, Mr. Crew? Finally, it's time for a little bit of an update going forwards. Now, I want to take this opportunity to thank all my current subscribers. I am very touched and moved by the amount of you that have supported me in this new venture. And going forwards, I hope that I can deliver better content as I am learning more and more each time I release a video. Now, the coming up, I have the first of my American Civil War ventures, and I believe it will be a quick and easy Confederate paint scheme, which will be coming up soon. And as it's Halloween this month, we will be taking a dive into fantasy with some skeletons and ghost schemes for Halloween. These can be used for a variety of systems and projects. It could even be used for the Silver Bayonet, for example, or just like debris and statues and stuff like that in games. We will also be carrying on with our Russian project. However, I am not quite sure when that will be out because I've planned it to have different blocks of things. So I'll do a video on the cavalry, a video on the infantry, the artillery, the characters. However, with the new system on the Perry's website with listing the stock notifications, a lot of things to finish each of those are out of stock at the moment, so I am waiting on that. I currently have all my grenadier commands that I need, but no grenadiers, and I don't have any line commands, but I have all the line infantry. So it's just waiting for those to come back in before I can do that. I think the first video will probably end up being the artillery because I have that in my next order because they are in stock. So look out for that probably in about a month or so. Looking at other projects as well, we'll be carrying on in the background with our loop brigade and hopefully getting that kind of finished and done around Christmas time. And our Inspiration on the Doorstep series will have a next update before Christmas as well, as I start to work on the, should we say, lower ranked units like the peasantry and the men at arms. I just need to wait for a few more transfers to come through for shields before I can really get going with that project. There will also no doubt be an Italian Wars themed video coming out soon because, as I've mentioned, the Yorkshire Gamers Board has triggered things off in my mind, and no doubt my visit to Florence in the next week or so will be even more motivating. So I would look forward to getting those videos out and hearing your thoughts and feedback on them. Finally, I want to set a challenge for the channel. I have started to gather models that are of historical figures of significance from a variety of ranges, a variety of eras, and I have started on the first one, which will be of Boudica. Now, this will be a video that's more of a biographic, and there will be painting, but it's not a painting guide. It'll just be me painting in the background as like a kind of visual focus of that model. Now, the challenge is taking a bit longer than I anticipated because of the chariot and my thoughts of like the basing. I wanted to add some celts to the base to make it more of a diorama and stuff because I don't anticipate using it in a game, but I wanted to get it done because it's a cool model. Now, I am going to say that once this channel gets to 100 subscribers, if it gets to 100 subscribers, then I will be releasing my new character series. So hopefully we will see that video soon. And with that, I hope you've enjoyed this breakdown and can kind of see where my head is at in regards to the moving forwards with the channel. And I will see you in the next one. Thanks for watching. Please remember to like and subscribe. Until next time, enjoy your hobby.